بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب إله العالمين بالقاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Reading through the verses of the Holy Quran, we have reached chapter 2 verse 25, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَبَشِّرَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ أَنَّ لَهُمْ جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ كُلَّمَا رُزِقُوا مِنْهَا مِنْ ثَمَرَةٍ رِزْقًا قَالُوا هَذَا الَّذِي رُزِقْنَا مِنْ قَبْلُ وَأُوتُوا بِهِ مُتَشَابِهًا وَلَهُمْ فِيهَا أَزْوَاجٌ مُطَهَّرَةٌ وَهُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. Allah tells the Holy Prophet to stay to the believers and proclaim to the believers and give glad tidings to those who believe and do righteous good deeds, that for them will be gardens under which river flow. Every time they will be provided with the fruits therefrom, they will say, this is what we were provided with before, and they will be given things in resemblance. In it there will be chaste mates for them, and they will remain in it forever. We are talking about righteousness and the righteous deeds, and we talked about it within the previous episode. We brought many examples, and we said righteousness for different people at different time and different situation differs, and something that might not be righteous for a person might be righteous for other person. And the example we brought was, for example, eating from haram meat, for example, eating pork. For a person who has other options and he is not in desperate need of eating meat, well, he should eat halal food. But if a person is in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the desert, and he's about to die from hunger, and he hasn't eaten anything for past 2-3 days, he will die because of that hunger. And if he sees a piece of pork, a place that they sell pork, only pork and nothing else, well, he should eat as much for him to not die and last until the next place. So that act become righteous for him, even though for the other person might not be righteous. We discussed it within the previous episode. So in order for us to know and to act upon righteousness, we have to know righteousness. And what is righteous good deeds that we have to act upon it. If not, what we do brings more harm, brings about more harm than righteousness. There's a beautiful hadith we read in Usul Kafi, volume 1, page 44, where Imam Sadiq alayhi salam narrates from Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. Man amila ala ghayra ilmin kana ma yufsidu akthara mimma yuslih. Anyone who acts upon an action and who does something, but he's not aware of what he's doing, he doesn't have the knowledge of it, the harm that he brings about, it's more than righteousness and good within this action. For example, if we don't know how to drive a car, a 15, 16-year-old, he wants to drive a car. He doesn't have any, he hasn't taken any classes. Nobody has trained him. He sits and he thinks that, okay, I'm 16, 17, or 18 years old. He hasn't received any training, and he starts driving. He turns on the car. He drives. It won't be long before he makes a first accident. It might be harmful to himself or harmful to other people. This example applies everywhere. If I don't know ahkam of deen, if I don't know the religious laws and the regulations and the do's and don'ts, and I want to be a righteous person, I bring about more harm and I will be more distanced from the righteousness than the righteousness itself. I have to know about it. I have to be aware of it, aware of everything. For example, within the wife and husband relationship, how should we interact with one another? I need to know the rights and responsibility described and prescribed for us by the noble Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. By the life of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, we see the rights and responsibility has been given. Or wajibat that I need to do, or muharramat. We gave the example within the previous episode. If I am not aware that when I'm traveling and I'm staying in a place to other place less than 10 days, I should pray my salat qasr, well, I think, okay, my righteousness is to pray complete. And I'm going to pray my salah complete, not knowing, unaware, uneducated, that I need to pray my prayer qasr because I'm traveling, and based on the ahkam of the deen, ahkam of the religion, I need to pray qasr. So I think I'm doing something right. I think I'm doing, well, always to do more is better than to do less. No, that is not a right statement to have, and that is not a right mindset to have. That, okay, I'll just pray more, it's better than praying less. We shouldn't. So action plan will be anything we're about to partake in, any action, any word that we want to utter, anything that we want to see, anything that we want to hear, anything we want to touch, any ideology, any movement, anything that we're about to do, we need to have the knowledge of it beforehand. Then we can start acting upon what we're about to act upon. Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam tells Kumail, Ya Kumail, ma min harakatin illa wa anta fiha muhtajun ila ma'rafatih. There is no action that you can take without having the knowledge of that action beforehand. Raising children, bringing children to this world, business, marriage, traveling, you name it, anything that, any movement we take, we must know and have knowledge of it beforehand. Same thing for righteousness. If not, again, we will be far away from righteous act than righteousness if we don't have the knowledge of it. So I thought that was very important for us to discuss it. And what is the benefit? What is the reward of acting upon righteousness? In addition, that we talked about it within the hadith, وبشر الذين within the Quran, وبشر الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات أن لهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار, and give glad tidings to those who believe and do righteous good deeds, that for them they will be garden. Also, the commander of the faithful, Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, in the book of Ghurar al-Hakam, page 334, he says, ثمن الجنة العمل الصالح. Everything has a price. Everything we have to pay for it. Well, in order for us to enter heaven, ثمن الجنة, the price that we have to pay to enter heaven, it's عمل صالح, righteousness. After I have gained the knowledge of what is righteousness and what is righteous deed, and I act upon it, that is the price I'm paying to enter heaven. How can we understand this? How can we know if this act of kindness is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes from me and is the price that I'm paying? For example, I might be going to a country that they don't accept a US dollar, for example. And I go and I want to buy a product. And I go shopping and I fill up the cart and I come and I give him a $100 bill. They will say, well, we don't accept this money. Well, it's a $100 bill. Well, we do not accept US dollar in this country, just for example. Or any other currency. We do not accept this currency. You have to go to a store and exchange your money and then bring the currency of our own country. Well, the thaman, the price for heaven, amalun salih. What is amalun salih? And what is righteousness that we can reach? We read that in chapter 3, verse 92, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ وَمَا تُنْفِقُوا مِنْ شَيْءٍ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ بِهِ عَلِيمٌ. You will never attain piety or righteousness until you spend out of what you hold dear and what you love. So righteous deed, righteous act, attaining righteousness cannot be attained unless we spend out of what we hold dear and what we love. At the time of charity, at the time of giving, do I buy new clothes and my ruin and my torn apart clothes, I give it for donation and I am so proud of it, and I put it in a plastic bag and it's all messed up together, nothing is good about it? Well, I'm giving charity and I'm looking at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm waiting for a reward. I remember when I was at Imam Ali Center in Virginia, a person brought me a box of clothes. I saw half of those clothes were all tagged. They already have their tag. He said, Sheikh, I bought them, I received them as a gift, but I haven't worn them, and it's a good clothes. I haven't worn them, it's brand new, and my closet is full of it, full of these clothes. Well, I thought, let me just give. And the other half, which was already worn, he made sure they were all ironed and pressed, and he made sure all were folded. This is the way he was giving the gift. لَن تَنَالُوا, you will never attain piety or righteousness until you spend out of what you hold dear and what you love. And we do have examples. At the time of giving money, well, I think of all of my bills and everything that I have to pay, and then if there is anything from that something that is left, I even give half of it. And I'm thinking I'm acting righteously. Let's bring one story, inshallah, in this episode, and two other stories in the next episode. We see, for example, within the life of Holy Lady Fatima Zahra, Salamullah alayha. The night of her wedding, she's wearing, is a famous story, it's a good story for us to be reminded of and educate our kids of, and tell them the bedtime stories. The night of her wedding, she's wearing her wedding dress, and she comes to the house and she's happy and she's wearing it, marrying to Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, and then somebody knocks on the door. Who is it? It's a needy person, a needy lady person. She didn't have anything else to give. She took her new wedding dress. This is what she loves. This is what she holds dearly, because she wants to reach, and then she has reached the righteousness and she has attained righteousness. She says, well, I give her and I will wear my old dress. They told her, how about you just give her the old dress? She said, no, I'll give her what I love dearly and what I love. She gave her wedding dress, the night of her wedding, to a needy person. This is an example that we have. And we're not saying, okay, the night of wedding to go, but at least we have to think, that mindset we should have, that we give what we love. Not something that we really don't want it, it's torn apart, it's almost about to, it's not usable, and we give it to charity. Another example, a needy person walks into the mosque of Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. And he tells, is there anybody who can help me? I'm a needy person, I'm hungry. Everybody looked around and nobody volunteered. Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam said, I'll take him to my house. He brings him to his house and he says to Fatima Zahra salamullah alayha, do we have anything to eat? She said, we have only small portion of food, which is good for one individual, small portion. Imam said, okay, bring that and bring me another bowl, which is empty. Imam turned off the candle. He put the bowl with food in front of that person, and he sat and he started eating like he pretended he's eating, even though his bowl was empty. These are the role models that we have. These are our uswa that we have to imitate. When I go for shopping, I find a good deal, I buy one and I buy another one, I give it to the needy person. Food we have, we can buy extra, and then from the same good food that has not been touched, is not leftover, give it to the needy people. And the famous story, for 3 nights that they gave food, Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Fatima Zahra, Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, they gave every night for 3 nights, even though they were fasting for 3 days. Every night, the time that they were about to break their fast, they would give it to the needy people. This is the example of the life of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam that we have, and we have to imitate and bring into our lives, inshallah. We will conclude with the most important dua, and that is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hasten the appearance of our beloved Imam, Imam Mahdi Ajalallah Ta'ala Faraj al-Sharif. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.